Hi, this is Shane Starr, and today we are continuing our 16 short video series titled Your Own Personal Jesus. If Jesus was the perfect human, then in theory he should embody the best of all 16 types. This morning, one of our more challenging types, could we consider Jesus as an ISTP? Let's give it a try. So number one, Jesus was an analytical problem solver. ISTs are known for their ingenuity in solving practical problems, and I think Jesus embodies this trait from his first miracle of turning water into wine at a wedding, and then feeding the 5,000, healing people. I would also add working his way around logical problems and verbal traps presented to him by the Pharisees and Sadducees of his day. Shutting down those trick questions. I think Jesus' quick thinking, problem solving talents reflect the analytical abilities of an ISTP. Moving on, Jesus was a very independent figure. Now, this might be a little bit delving into stereotypes, but ISTPs are known to be very independent, rather socially introverted people. And there is evidence in the New Testament records that attest to this in Jesus' personality. He frequently retreated to be alone in prayer and to meditate away from the crowds, away from his disciples. He also valued one-on-one personal relationships above appealing to the masses in and for itself. He had several one-on-one conversations recorded in the Bible, and he was more into personal friends than being a part of, a larger party of friends or groups, although he was no stranger to groups either. I think his demeanor in this area sort of goes with the ISTPs of being able to hang with groups but preferring one-on-one interactions. Next, and I think this is a good one here, is that Jesus was realistic and grounded. And one would think, really, how, if he's talking about heaven all the time? ISTPs, in spite of having third slot intuition, introverted intuition, they're known for being or having a realistic and grounded approach to life. Jesus was no stranger to practical problems, often dealing with things like, relationships, money, growing crops, taking care of animals. His stories and parables they're not pie in the sky, crazy theological teachings. They're examples from everyday life, farming, fishing, cooking, work. He used these simple, grounded, real examples to explain more complex theological truths. And I would say also his main function, and I've mentioned this in other videos, Jesus healed people. He addressed their immediate physical needs. He wasn't like this far outer space spiritual guru, but he was fully involved in the practical problems, routines, realities of life. And this kind of grounded nature is indicative of an ISTP personality. Last but not least, I have a bonus point here, and this turns ISTP from a very unlikely type to maybe a possibility. Who knows? Jesus was a carpenter. Think about that. Before his 3 years of preaching, he spent presumably a decade and a half being a carpenter. And what profession says ISTP more than carpentry? There's none. Like carpenter, I think ISTP, and probably so would you. You can't get any more ISTP than that. So, okay, that brings us to the conclusion. if this doesn't convince you that Jesus was an ISTP, that's okay. I wouldn't type him as that type either. But I think there's enough overlap here in the ISTP blueprint to where I think our ISTPs in the audience and ISTPs who see this video, I think there's enough here that they can meaningfully relate to the personality of Jesus. Okay, next up, later this evening, a little bit easier of a task. We're going to consider Jesus as ISFP. Till then, peace out.